Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we'll be going over my Season 3 Week 12 match. It's my second match of Week 12. We'll be going up against Sean, who is the coach of the Ailsa Cutieflies. This one, as you know, we already had one match earlier in the week against my brother Tyler. We did win that one. So, now, if we can beat Sean, and then Sean loses his other game this week, against Andre, then we will actually take first place going into playoffs. So some pretty big implications. At the time of the battle, he did not have his second game already, so it was still like a must-win. It wasn't like had I already known that he won, it would have been like, oh, you know, I can't get first now. But at the time, he didn't. So this was pretty big implications on our parts. So let's go over Sean's team. Sean drafted Celesteela, Dugtrio, Mega Sableye, Hippowdon, Empoleon, Mienshao, Linoon, Araquanid, Slowking, Vikavolt, Sneasel, and Cresselia. His Z captain is Dugtrio, and his Z alternates are Celesteela and Vikavolt. Now, to be clear, at the time of draft, since this is an OU based league, like we use the same clauses as OU. This is Arena Trap Dugtrio. And like literally a week after we drafted, Arena Trap got banned in OU. So, I did have to prep for Arena Trap, unfortunately, as we don't make rule changes in the middle of the season. Which is like another thing towards that is like we're not using any Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon move tutor moves on our Pokemon because we started in Sun Moon. We're gonna keep it in Sun Moon. But yeah, so he's got a lot of big threats. His team is really weird. First off, Mega Sableye is is a huge threat, and at the time of draft, because he actually didn't draft Empoleon, he picked it up later. Mega Sableye was his only form of hazard control with the Magic Bounce, and then he picked up Empoleon because he was tired of people stacking hazards on him. And then he picked up Linoon, which honestly, in my opinion, is a little scummy. I'm not a big fan of Linoon, and it's just, I don't know, it seems like a not fun Pokemon to use or to be on the other side of. It's a little scummy in my opinion, but that's beside the point. But because he has a Linoon, going to my team now, Fizdef Skarmory is a must. I cannot stray until that Linoon is dead. I cannot stray away from Skarmory as my check to Linoon, because even at +6, his extreme speed only does I think max 38. It's not that great against Skarmory. I'm surprised he brought it. I didn't think he would bring it, but I needed to be safe. I needed to have the check to this Linoon, which is Skarmory. As far as moves go on him, we're running Brave Bird, Roost, Defog, and Toxic. The Toxic, because he does have the Sableye, I wasn't worried about Toxic getting bounced back, obviously, because I'm immune to it, but he does have things like Slowking and Cresselia that I just need to Toxic. Unfortunately, Celesteela is immune to Toxic, which is just, ugh, Celesteela is a beast. But that's beside the point. He often runs. I was expecting one Scarfer because I do have the Mega Lopunny, and it's just way too fast. The options were either the Mienshao or the Sneasel, and in either case, I did need Sticky Webs up, so I am going with Galvantula. He also only does have one Ground type in Hippowdon, which makes Volt Switch quite desirable for the match. Other than that, though, we are running Bug Buzz because the Cresselia and the Slowking pose a threat. And then the last move is the Energy Ball in case he did bring the Hippowdon. But also, no, I think, never mind. Oh, no. I guess he does have Dugtrio. I'm a little surprised he didn't bring the Dugtrio, though. So I did need Energy Ball for both of those. Like I said, Lop, just really fast. However, Adamant Lop cannot outspeed Dugtrio, so we are running Jolly, but because of the way natures work, we're actually quite bulky. I think we have 120 EVs into HP. We're running a set that, I figured that he wouldn't bring Sableye specifically because I have Lopunny, but I just did not want to take the chance. And we're running, a set basically made to set up against a Sableye. We're running Power Up Punch, Return HJK, and Heal Bell. So that way, if he tried to Will-O-Wisp us, I could just Heal Bell off the damage and then set up with Drain Punch, and then the plan was to sweep from there, but I mean, he didn't bring the Sableye, so what can you do? We're running a mixed Seismitoad again. Like, it's still Fizz Def, but our attacks are mixed. It's actually a little bit different. We're running Sub, mostly for scouting purposes on a lot of his mons, on things like, on Cresselia that could run things like Grass Knot, or like a Celesteela running HP Grass or something like that. But more specifically, the way his team is, he has like decent speed tiers as opposed to like covering each tier. However, all of those Pokemon tend to run 0 speed EVs, which makes this Mon and the next Mon like very unique, I guess. So we are running the Relaxed Nature again, but we are running 8 EVs in there because I actually only need 4 to outspeed a no-speed Celesteela, but in case he does know that I run, I outspeed him. I outspeed Celesteela with the Relaxed Nature on, like, I outspeed a no-speed Celesteela with the Relaxed Nature with Seismitoad. But in case he does know that, like, I run Relaxed Nature quite frequently, and he tries to speed creep me, I just ran the ADVs into speed to basically, I sped crept his speed creep, as the quote-unquote pros would say. But yeah, so besides that, it's got Scald knockoff for moves and then Subtoxic, mostly on things that, like, I know I can outspeed, and it can't get Toxic back. It was mostly for the Celesteela, so that way if I can set up a sub and he can't Leech Seed me. Celesteela was like a huge problem for my team. But here's where, like, the real... excuse me. Oh boy, excuse me again. This is where, like, the real, like, issue with Sean's speed tiers comes in, is with this next Pokemon, and Haxorus. So Haxorus is base 97 speed. The Mon above that is Linoon at 100, but below that is Cresselia. Cresselia has 85 base speed, but there is no way he's going to try speed creep a no-speed Haxorus, because A, no one ever runs a no-speed Haxorus, and B, that's way too much EV investment into speed that he's going to have to take either out of HP or defense, or special defense or whatever, and that's not at all what Cresselia is about. Cresselia is about being as fat as possible. So, because of this, we're running Adamant Haxorus with almost max HP. I'm running enough speed in it to outspeed the max HP version of Linoon, which normally only is Adamant and only runs 4 speed EVs. So I'm running enough speed to outspeed that. Otherwise, we're Adamant Nature, max HP otherwise. Because we're Adamant, we're running Swords Dance, just to, like, skyrocket the attack up to insane heights. We're actually Waterium Z this time, because he does have Hippowdon. Normal Aqua Tail cannot knock it out. I do have to be a +2, like, I'm talking like a max physically defensive Hippowdon. At +1, I couldn't get the knockout, like a guaranteed knockout. I think it was a roll. So I need to get the +2 and Waterium Z to Oko. Sadly, he didn't bring the Hippowdon, so Z-move kind of useless. Rather than the Aqua Tail, we have Outrage and Earthquake. Or no, sorry, Superpower. Ground is not really a notable weakness I can take advantage of in this, especially not when, like, his main ones are like Celesteela and Empoleon are the main switch-ins. Like, Superpower hits Empoleon anyways, and Celesteela is immune to Earthquake, so why bother? Then we're running Choice Scarf Azelf with Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Psychic, U-Turn, just the 3 best coverage moves, and then U-Turn, just because, like, for pivoting purposes. We're running Max Speed Timid because I need it to at least speed tie with Sneasel, barring I can't get webs up, and that he's he's scarfed as well. I honestly assumed that Sneasel would be the scarfer, and then realized kind of last minute that Mian Shao was more likely. But I still I'm one that doesn't want to take any chances. I max speed to try to hopefully speed tie Sneasel, and then hopefully get to hit it first. So my play is, once again, Galvantula, try to get webs up as fast as possible. But he does lead with his Linoon, and I'm thinking, like, I cannot let this set up for free. If I try to get sticky webs up, I need to Volt Switch right now into Skarmory, as he does just go for the extreme speed, which actually does quite a bit, but that's okay. So this damage does reveal that he is the max HP variant. So here, I kind of already ruined it, but like, once I go into Skarmory, I figured like the switch into Celesteela is like way too obvious. I could like get aggressive and go into Azelf right away, try to Thunderbolt it or whatever his switch in is, but I end up just going against it for whatever reason and deciding like, let's attack what's in front of me. Attack what's in front of me. Brave Bird couldn't pick up the KO. If he was the speed version, Brave Bird could pick up the KO from there. I guess it would have had to have been a Belly Drum. He probably has like the berry. So like, if he didn't have the berry for whatever reason, then Brave Bird could have killed from there. But regardless, I just decide to attack what's in front of me and go for Toxic. In hindsight, I definitely should have been aggressive and gone into Azelf, but I can't really do anything about that now. I mean, missing the Toxic's whatever because he's immune to it anyways. I go into Seismitoad just to try to scout for what set this is, and this is in fact the defensive set that runs Leech Seed. In the very brief practice period I had for this team, I actually went up against the Flame Charge variant, like the offensive Celesteela that ran Flame Charge and like just Iron Head Air Slash, that kind of stuff. But seeing this, like Celesteela is just a problem in general, but seeing this I kind of figure, okay, I need to like, first of all, I figure he's like defensive with max HP. I also need to figure out like which side of the defensive spectrum is he on. So I go for knockoff, and this damage does tell me that he is physically defensive, as he reveals to have the Giga Drain, which is like, okay, I guess that's fair. And I got the leftovers off. So seeing that I'm at 4%, I just decided to switch out into Azelf. He plays me like a fiddle, unfortunately, and just double Leech Seeds. I was really hoping that was like the one thing he didn't do, was double Leech Seed. I was really hoping for like an Iron Head or something. But in hindsight, I mean, like, the double Leech Seed was fine because he was going to die. Because Seismitoad was going to die to Leech Seed anyways, and I couldn't really damage this. I guess my better play probably would have been Scald, but that's beside the point. I go into Azelf here. I decide to U-turn out, and once I U-turn, I go into Jesus Christ, Seismitoad. But like, I decided to U-turn because I thought I might be able to scare him out with like a Thunderbolt or even a Flamethrower or Fire Blast, because both of those hit him. Knowing that he's physically defensive, I think a Specs Fire Blast could knock him out. So whether he was just being bold and predicting that I wasn't going to be Specs, I guess it's good on him. But I mean, regardless, he stayed in and he goes for the heavy. Like, once I see that he didn't switch out, I figured, well, I think it's just time to sack my Seismitoad. Considering that, like, just the way the battle's going, I didn't really think Seismitoad was going to be a big thing. I do go into Azelf here, and I just reveal the Thunderbolt. He unfortunately, it is looking like a 2-hit KO here. Jeez, I'm like, once again, I'm one step too late on the pausing it, but that's, anyways. Thunderbolt would be a 2-hit KO here. Seeing as he Leech Seed me, I was anticipating Protect, like, by far. I figured like that was definitely his play, and then like after the Protect, it was kind of a roll as to whether Thunderbolt could kill. So so yeah, I just decided to go into switch out into Galvantula instead, and as you can see, he does Protect, and I just decided to Volt Switch back, but he lives on 1 HP, and I'm just thinking like, come on, I can't like get a roll. It was a roll, by the way. It was a roll to kill from there. And like, I'm just thinking like, oh, I can't get that roll. But anyways, seeing that it wasn't a roll, seeing that he didn't die, I just decided to go into Azelf. Hopefully he doesn't like Leech Seed or anything. hopefully he just like Iron Head, but unfortunately he does Leech Seed. But from here, Thunderbolt is 100% my play. He has no reason to try to like protect or to switch out. He's gonna die to it anyways. And then, so yeah, he just lets the Celesteela go down. He goes into Mienshao, and here I'm thinking, like, I know I'm faster, but I'm not locked into Psychic. Like, he is, like, screaming, I'm Scarfed, doing this play. Because, like, if I'm not Scarf, and I'm, like, say, Expert Belt, or even, like, Twisted Spoon, and I'm just, like, faking it, then, like, he is dead on the Psychic. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that, because like if I'm not Scarfed, then it sounded a lot better in my head. I don't know what I'm talking about. I apologize. Anyway, because I'm Scarfed, I'm forced to switch out because Thunderbolt can't kill from here. I need to lock myself into Psychic in order to OHKO this, unfortunately. So yeah, I switch out into Haxorus, I believe, because I was anticipating knockoff, and like Haxorus was like my best switch into that in case he did click a fighting type move for whatever reason. Because actually Haxorus can take the fighting type move relatively well. As he smartly goes for the U-turn. Now here, once again, just a step too late. Anyways, here was the turn where I was like, now that I know he is the HP variant, I know I outspeed him because I sped crept specifically for the HP variant of the Linu. So, obviously Aqua Tail couldn't kill from here. Both Outrage and Superpower could. For whatever reason, I decided, like, I thought for whatever reason he could switch out into, Cresselia or into Slowking. So I didn't really want to click Superpower, but I mean, that was beside the point. In hindsight, I should have just attacked what's in front of me and clicked Superpower to knock this out. I click Outrage and I do knock this out, which is fine. However, as he goes into Extreme Speed, which I was like, I expected that. Like, he was gonna die anyways. I expected him to Extreme Speed. However, me clicking Outrage, basically, it's locked me into Outrage and gave him basically a free switch into Empoleon. And this damage does show me that he's actually max HP, and this damage from him, even on the crit and the Scald, I do survive because remember, I'm like almost max HP. This shows me that he's actually not invested into special attack at all. So I'm anticipating like specially defensive Empoleon, which actually is a decent matchup considering I have an Azelf. But anyways, I'm forced out here because I do not want to risk the confusion here. I think that Haxorus just has too much value right now, and even if he doesn't, I can use it as a sack later. So I just decide to switch out into Lopunny and hope that Scald doesn't get a burn, and he gets the burn. But I'm just like, no worries, I can Mega Evolve and just click Heal Bell. As he goes into Cresselia, as this is like, he established that that's his, this is his clean check to my Lopunny, which is fair on his part now that his Celesteela is down. But anyways, I decide to go into Skarmory to try to put this on a Toxic Clock. But he reveals to have Substitute, and I am thinking, at this exact point, I am thinking to myself, why the hell did I not bring Whirlwind on my Skarmory? I was just so worried about like other hazards and stuff like that. It flew past me that he would run Substitute on this. So now we have a huge problem on our hands in the form of Calm Mind Substitute. I just try my best to try to get it out, and even like a Brave Bird from this can't even break the sub. So now like I'm forced into Galvantula here as he does Calm Mind here, and now I'm forced into a spot where I have to make a choice. Volt Switch can break the sub, or I could just quote unquote be a man and just try to Bug Buzz through his Substitute, because Bug Buzz, like all sound-based moves, bypass Substitute. Problem being, now that he's a +2 special defense, Bug Buzz does not do a whole lot, which is unfortunate. So I don't think it does like even 25% to it, especially with him having leftovers. It's a huge problem. So I just figure it's not worth trying to attack through the sub. I think it's just better if I just Volt Switch and break the sub right now. So I'm gonna do that, and I think I go into his Zelf here just to try to pressure it as much as I can, but he smartly goes for the Substitute after. So now seeing that, I figured, well, Bug Buzz was the play. But I mean, I can't control what moves he clicks. It's just the way I thought it would roll out. So anyways, he goes into his sub again. I just U-turn, and unfortunately, U-turn can't even break the sub. I go into Galvantula expecting another Calm Mind, but he safely goes for the Psy Shock. I once again go into Azelf and U-turn and break the sub. And now I have to go into Lopunny to try to just pressure this as much as I can. So now at this point, like, I just figured Lopunny's gonna go down. Like, there's no way, because, like, I know Lopunny's return can break the sub, but, like, there's no way he clicks sub right away again like he has before. There's no way. Like, if he has this chance to knock out my Lopunny, he's definitely gonna take it. So, realistically, my only chance right now to beat this is to break the sub with Lopunny, let Lopunny go down, and have Haxorus basically just try to crit with Outrage. That's basically my plan. It's really the only thing I can do at this point. So that's exactly what happens. I break the sub, I let Lob go down, and I go into Haxorus. So I click Outrage, hope for a crit, but he actually switches out. I'm a little surprised that he switched out. But he goes into what is a relatively safe switch into this, which is the Pepe here, Empoleon, that's it. Unfortunately, I go down to Scald as I can't get the crit. I'm going to go into his Elf and Thunderbolt here, as that deals a good chunk to here. Now here he goes into Mienshao. Jeez. The one like good thing I guess I'll say about this is that with his Linoon down, like I can be more liberal with my Skarmory, as like Skarmory was actually a really good check to this Mienshao. I just did not want to play around with that Linoon. I just was like, this Skarmory is all for Linoon until the Linoon dies. So I actually do have a decent check to this Mienshao with Skarmory, because actually a 0 invested Brave Bird can from Skarmory actually knocks out Mienshao. Unfortunately, he U-turns out smartly, goes into Slowking. I Toxic to try to get a clock out, but he actually reveals to have Flamethrower, which I thought like again, realistically, I did have Sturdy, so like the crit really shouldn't have mattered, because then it would have been a 2-hit anyways. But I guess maybe what could have happened is it could have been like a possible 2-hit after Leftovers recovery, but that's beside the point. But he actually shows in the chat that he was Specs anyway, so it didn't matter. I just Brave Bird to try to get as much damage off, and honestly, I killed this thing with Thunderbolt, but honestly at this point I know that Thunderbolts can't kill either Cresselia or Mienshao in one shot, and it is GG. Sean beats me, he gets the 2-0 win. Unfortunately, I cannot break into first place this season. With that win, Sean did lock up first place in the regular season. But I mean, hey, what can you do? I gave him my all this season, that's for sure. Luckily, we are looking forward to playoffs. We do not know who we are playing in the first round of playoffs yet. Not all of the matches have for the final week have happened yet, but once I do, you can be sure to keep your eye on the channel for that battle. But yeah, who knows? Like, I don't know who we play. I think if things stay the way they are currently, I would play Alex Walinga in the first round, which, as you know, I did not beat in the regular season either. So that would be some nice revenge if we could win there. But beside the point, the main point is, unfortunately we lost. Sean locks up first, but hey, maybe change is good, because I mean, the last 2 seasons I won the regular season playoffs, and then Sean won the playoff championships after that. So who knows? Maybe it'll be me, but maybe we'll have just a different playoff champion in general. So really hoping for that. But either way, I'm really looking forward to playoffs. So keep your eye on the channel for our first week of playoffs. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.